Hey everyone, good evening. I want to go over Palantir and something I've noticed and actually was in preparation for. I'm going to try and keep it short and simple. Charting made simple, right? At the end, you will get a little bit of information about the community and all that wonderful stuff, but for now, let's try this to keep this quickly to the point. So pay attention pretty simply, and obviously we have here an obvious structure, right? That maybe some of you will be able to identify quite quickly. Okay, so we're having this wonderful, in my assessment, what will end up being somewhere around here. Head and shoulders, right, on Palantir. A clear, distinct sort of structure, harmonic pattern that we usually see at the very top of things. But you're going to argue and say, well, Greg, we've seen this happen before, and who's to say that this time around we're not just going to start breaking back out into the channel, right? We are right now objectively at the edge of the channel. If you pay attention to what happened here, we basically moved from the left side of the channel, of course, via these movements, ended up now at the bottom or the right side of the channel as if we're ready to progress, right? Remember, we're not staying in these channels forever. We move into them and subsequently also move out of them and progress onwards. Now, if you want to be objective about how momentum looks like, well, let's see. Right now on the week chart, right, we are seeing more so on the bearish side. We are more bearish than bullish. Objectively, our D is dominant. We are in oversold territory, but we are seeing the curvature of the forces right here, potential confluence, and that potential confluence may result in the price action jumping back up. I'm easily going to give it an 187, and maybe, although I really doubt it, it will now establish, once already establishing this shoulder, I doubt it's gonna go as high as this point, right? Kind of the median to the channel, 195. Could be, we could have some slippage there, but I doubt it. My assessment, if anything, probably will go to that 186. May occur. This is not a certainty, and you'll understand exactly what I mean. Because, I mean, look, if we're looking at the daily, we are bearish again with confluence, so may potentially get some bullish momentum, may easily still result in that retracement and retest of 180, 187, as I've just shown you a second ago. Again, we are bullish on the 4 hours, so there is some bullish momentum out there in the system to be purged, so to speak, before we continue, but not a lot. And if I'm correct about this as being the right shoulder, we basically have already seen roughly these highs and potentially will test maybe at best, let's say, this top of this channel, the downwards channel we're actually moving within right now objectively, right, as you can see. And that top of that channel results in roughly around, again, 180. Basically one and the same support resistance level that you can kind of see crossing through that, which is $180. But the real point is, because the thumbnail will say $100, yes, it's $100, just be patient, let me show you. Okay, now that let's just kind of skip over, because we were already on the daily and I shown you how that looks. We started off of the daily. Let's quickly skip over to our weekly. This is where we start to pay attention, right? No, well, I mean, we already said that's bearish, right? We started on the weekly. Really, pardon me. But let's pay attention to our monthly. Our monthly is actually a lot scarier. A lot of people didn't notice that very transition, that first of all, the flattening of the curvature, and in fact, right now already starting to establish that downwards trend. If you pay attention on our monthly, which of course, this is the longer time frame, shows you in greater detail that process that will take over a longer period of time, basically shows you more so the structure of the longer cycle, the longer trend. So what that means is that this is just the beginning. We haven't even had yet the opportunity to see most of the force of this play out. Actually, once it penetrates oversold territory below the 20, this is where we're actually going to see the stock dip lower. My assessment that dip, that very dip, will take us at least to that rough area of 137, 130. Basically, call it 130. That is, in my assessment, our destination right now. 100 and that looks weird. $130. That is my current sort of near range target on the bottom end. Yes, we do acknowledge that it may take some time with some retests to the upside, although we do know we drop faster than we climb. Some people may assess that all of this is wrong and would not care for it. For all I care, these people are flat earthers. Have a great day. This video is not for you. Now, the 3 months actually looks even scarier. Those who objectively understand what that means and have seen when the stochastic RSI starts printing its data, basically given the average that it does get over a longer period of time, when it starts on the upper band, basically when it starts in overbought territory, right, on the top band above the 80, what it usually ends up doing is going downwards as a first measure, right? And it's not because it wants to do so, it's just because how the data ends up being and showing through a longer period of time. That is just a moving average. That is all. It has no biases. It purely shows you the dominance of the forces right now on the grander scale of things, if you're looking over a period of a quarter instead of a month or a week or a day. Now, objectively, that does not mean we're not going to have little bouncies up and down within that thing, within that system. In fact, that's exactly why we have the smaller time frames, to identify these bounces that we will have up and down several times over, right? This is not going to be linear. If you expect that you're going to wake up tomorrow after watching this video and the stock drops to 130, well, no, that's not the case. So the next argument is, if that is what leads me to assess that we are going to test that 130 area, that quarterly is what allows me to assess that we're gonna retrace all the way back down to that 50% retracement level on the Fibonacci retracement scale, and basically that gives us 106. And given how 106.72 is so tremendously close to $100, basically all it will require is just one tiny negative day for it to actually hit $100. And so here you can see how my current target sits roughly at around $100. Okay, now again, I'm not going to try and break down the processes within which it can happen or how long it can happen. Do not think I'm drawing this and actually take all the way to 2028. God forbid. I really hope that's not the case, really. And more so, remember, we drop far faster than we climb, right? So in fact, I am expecting to see a very, very steep, very quick sort of succession of candlesticks here dropping and pulling us to the downside. I'm not going to give you an assessment of time. I'm merely giving you here the analysis of how the momentum and the overall structure looks like. And more so, I will throw in a little tidbit that all of this falls perfectly in line with the assessment that I have about the indices and the overall market and the conditions we see there. It's not like any of these are any different, right? Again, here today you can see various sort of points of entanglement that I've mentioned, right? Actually, for example, right here, we can see multiple random points, as if you want to call them, like so, right? As you can see, we ended up pretesting again that 6,929.40 level on the continuous contract. In fact, retraced back to that 6921.2. By the way, all that stuff I talk about in my community. There is a link on the screen, right there on the left side of the screen. It's patreon.com/investory. That is the wonderful thing. Definitely sign up and join, and I'll give you kind of a big hint about things. This $30 tier is gonna be hiked at the end of this month, basically 7 days away from now. This is gonna become a $50 tier, so currently it is discounted. Now, another discount you can get is by pressing this 20% off and paying annually. You will then be able to get somewhat of a discount more on top of things. More so, I want to tell you that slowly but surely, every month, this tier is going to be climbing more and more, right? It's going to be hiked more and more, $20 every month until it's going to reach $100. Okay? So right now, it is basically 70% discounted. Sign up or you're really going to miss out. Later on, again, you can cancel, you can leave, no one cares. You know, it's like if you don't like it, it's up to you. It's just another sort of service. What does allow you to do is get an impression of what the community is like. What do I do? What do I talk about? It will allow you to actually see various posts I post in advance with the rest of the community. But most importantly, it will expose you to the one-on-one academy that I have, where I teach one-on-one students how to be able to analyze the market on their own, be their own analyst, so to speak, right? Understand how to do technical analysis properly on their own, be their own independent chief sort of and captain, right? And that's, you can see results like this. Shout out to Leo. And again, I actually get many more of these It's just oftentimes I just feel kind of uncomfortable asking, people to post, but that was just so excessive I had to post. Very recently, by the way, and various other students who already gone through the academy. I have currently in the academy, in the one-on-one academy, I have just one spot. Everything else beyond that goes into reserve. So don't miss out, because, I mean, the only way you reserve a spot, you reserve a spot. Otherwise, you end up waiting for a long period of time. Of course, you get to see my portfolio. You get to participate with the members in the options channel if you want. So that's not my shtick. I really am not a big fan of options, but inherently, inevitably, to be good at trading options, you do need to be really good at analyzing the price action on your own, doing technical analysis, being your own master, so to speak, and then you can, on the go, do these actions and understand really what's going on in the market. Yes, you have my main sort of chat where I post about these random events, so-called, right? Throughout the day, I show all of them, we discuss things, I keep the community up to date in my expectations and what these levels, where they are, and all sorts of stuff. As much as basically I keep my community up to speed as much as I can. Highly recommended, and many other features and perks you can get in the community. But if you do take the one-on-one academy, that is just the pinnacle. You can't get any better than that. That way you'll be, like I said, your own master. You'll learn how to analyze the market on your own. You'll understand why these things happen, where they happen, what are the forces, what are the support and resistances, the indicators, everything, all of the above, the cycle, the rhythm, literally the frequency of these sort of actions and the waves and all of that wonderful stuff. You will be able to know all about it, read, and be independent. And as you can see right here, I've posted about this stuff, of course, to my community first. They are the ones who get all the information first. Shit, I'm being stupid. I'm being so stupid. I'm being so utterly stupid. All of the blah blah that I just showed on Patreon, on the Discord. Oh my god, I'm being so stupid. That what happens when you have a huge screen. I am a stupid moron. Okay. Yeah, probably the people who are watching this still are probably the community members themselves or potential community members. So if you want to apply to the academy, go here. Need help? Apply to the academy, or apply or get support if you need to. Here you have guidance on the left. Click me. You have guidance on how to join the community, the Patreon link, how to link your accounts, and all that beautiful stuff. That is it, boys and girls. My point, I think I've made it really quickly, talking about Palantir and what I think and expect the market to do. Let me move my stupid ass again to the side, not to interfere with you guys, so you guys can see the beautiful chart. All right, there we go. So yeah, my assessment is pretty simple about Palantir. I kind of broke it down. It doesn't mean you're not going to see some movements up and down within the framework of what we're doing here, right? But overall, in the grand scheme of things, I see that this pattern has been complete, and I am expecting to see prices such as 100. And in fact, let me tell you, those who stayed and watched this long, I will have more updated videos as we go downwards, as the price action decreases lower and lower and lower. And in my assessment, that 100 will not be the lowest we will see in that particular overall grand scheme correction. In fact, I expect far lower lows than that 100. But that's in the future. For now, I'm just going to give you what I can see to some level of certainty, right? That's it, boys and girls. Hope to see you on the next one. That's all I had to say about Palantir. See you on the next one. Bye-bye. Have a great evening.